Welcome to the Davidson Wildcats Coaches Corner, presented by Atrium Health. Matt present, joined by the head coach, Scott Abel. Davidson coming off a 24-21 victory against Morehead State on Saturday. Caden Badovsky drilling a 32-yard field goal to win it in the final seconds. And, Coach, he was just named the PFL Special Teams Player of the Week. Thinking back to that kick and thinking back to where he's come in his career, what does that moment mean for him as well as your program?
Well, it's incredibly important in both aspects, right? For Caden to make that kind of kick under that kind of pressure, I mean, just gives us so much confidence in him and what he can do. You know, he's still really young in our program, right? He's just midway through his second season. But, you know, he has been, extremely efficient in our field goal group, and as he gets older, he's only going to get better, right? But he's made some big kicks already. Certainly Saturday was his largest, right? I'm really proud of him. And, man, just cool as a cucumber. He really was. And then, for our team to win in that kind of fashion, right? We've really, I mean, the program has immensely changed in 2 years, right? But to be able to win, having to drive the field really twice in the last, 8 minutes of the game, right? To get a defensive stop, right? All the things that went into that full quarter, you saw our guys kind of turn it up a notch, right? Now, and at the end, right, we drove the field, we scored, we got a stop, we drove the field and got the field goal at the end. We carried out our plan in the full quarter ideally, and really proud of our guys. And I thought it was a huge step for this team.
I was just going to ask you about that fourth quarter because you guys got the ball back with 4 minutes and 12 seconds, trailing by 7 at your own 10-yard line. Certainly your offense has produced a lot of big plays over the years, but the play calls aren't necessarily designed to create big plays, play in, play out. What is the mindset play calling in that situation with so little time left, knowing that you need to go the length of the field at least once?
Well, the first thing you want to do is you got to get momentum, right? You got to get out of, we were pinned back inside the 10, right? It wasn't just a typical drive. We went 90 plus yards. And so you got to have a momentum buster. And we had one, right? That first play, the reverse to Mark, and it hit. We had kind of held that, right? We had, and just found a really good opportunity to call it, to run it. Mark had a fantastic game, and, it just hit for us. And so that got us going. They had a hard time with their outside option game all day, right? So we had a couple different ways to get there, and so on that last drive, we actually went a different way that we hadn't necessarily shown them yet, and it paid off for us, right? And, that's kind of why you hold a few things, whether they're concepts or they're formations, right? At some point you're going to need momentum. You're going to need a couple of big plays. And so, very grateful and proud of our guys that they could execute, right? It's not easy to execute things that maybe you haven't done all game, and then you get to that last drive and you have to perform, right? So that was the first thing. We had to get momentum going. And then, we scored pretty quickly, and then it was just a matter of, hey, getting a stop, getting the ball back. And, they got a couple first downs. But, we used our timeouts well, right? We can always stop the clock on offense. And at the end, we forced them to try a really long field goal. When we got that stop there on third down and forced 40, I think it was a 47-yarder or something like that. I felt good. I felt, okay, our defense had done their job. Now, if they made the field goal, you knew we were still going to have about a minute, 18, minute 20 to move the football in field goal range. And we'd already started working on that on the sideline, preparing for a kickoff return, preparing for our offense to be in a 2-minute to have to hit a field goal to tie it. But instead, we get the ball back, and now we just need to hit a couple big plays to get us in field goal range, right? And we were able to do that. Once again, we had some outside option plays that hit, right? We had a pass play that hit, and so very, very grateful. And that's when your senior leadership takes over. Like Tyler Phelps on that last drive just really made some great plays with his feet and his arm.
You mentioned Mark McCurdy, and he had an outstanding game, 127 rushing yards, the biggest of his career. You guys have now had 4 different 100-yard rushers so far this season. What made this game one for McCurdy to break out?
Well, there's a couple of things. If you look at the game as a whole in statistics, our slot room, right, combined for right at 250 yards of rushing offense, right? That's not including their receptions, right? And so they came close to 300 yards total offense as a position room. And that's really as much as they've had collectively all year. The game plan is to limit our outside option game all year. And that is, you've seen that with our stats, with our two downhill O-backs. They've really just kind of run wild inside, right? Tyler's had a big game running the football. We've had some big games throwing it with our receivers. And so, their game plan was, hey, let's see what this slot world can do, right? Let's force the pitch. Let's get it in their hands. And to our guys' credit, yeah, they had a great day. Not just Mark, but Eli and Braden Oakley, right? They had a great day, and they were ready for the challenge.
On the defensive side of the ball, we talked leading up to the game that you guys were a little bit beat up without Chichi Odo for the rest of the season, but I thought some guys stepped up. James Boyle and Tyrese White had back-to-back sacks, and it seemed like the pressure got there, the balls that were knocked away, all the big plays came at critical moments.
Well, I'm really proud of our defensive effort, right? We were really just a couple of plays away from, it being a fantastic defensive day, right? A couple big, third down completions, which, our DBs were right there, and just, either their receiver made a great play or we just missed on it. But overall, I'm really excited and thrilled for those guys who got the opportunity. But, James Boyles played all year and played well for us. And I thought he did step up his game as a senior Saturday and really showed leadership, right? Showed a lot of determination. Tyrese White getting his first sack, right? Well, Tyrese is a very talented freshman that we know and has been playing, but I thought he raised his game up. And so, they have great leadership on that defense with our linebacking core, right? Those young guys are, they got Jake and Jalen, right? And TJ playing right behind them that have a ton of experience that I think are really benefiting.
Coach, looking ahead to this Saturday, you guys travel cross country to San Diego, and this is a program that's been atop of this league for the last decade now. They've won 39 consecutive games against conference opponents. What would it mean to you to end that streak?
Well, first thing we're going to do, we're going to approach this thing like every other week, right? Now, we know it's different. You can't hide from that, right? So, our guys know it's different. I don't have to tell everyone it's a different week, right? You don't have to go out and shout from the mountaintop. Everyone will know, right? FCS knows this, the FCS world as a whole, will probably be watching this game, not because the Pioneer League is this dominant league, but because San Diego's playing for a national record, right? They have a chance to break the all-time consecutive league win total, right? That's been held for years out of another league. They know we're undefeated in our league coming in there. So, we don't have to tell people it's different. Our kids know it, but we'll approach it like every other week. And, to get a victory over, such a program, right? It will take us to that next level, to that next step. And that's what we've been working for, right? We talked last week, we thought we had kind of re-solidified ourselves of who we were, right? We thought a year and a half later, we built all this momentum and we were back to where we were when the pandemic hit, right? We had solidified ourselves as being one of the best programs in our league. And we doubled down that Saturday, right? Getting a great home win at the end, so now we're 3-0 for the first time in school's history, and I think the pressure's on them, right? Everyone, the pressure's on San Diego. The expectations are, that San Diego's going to win. They're the favorite, right? They have a lot on the line for our guys. We can go out and play and be who we are. And we look forward to that opportunity.
Well, looking forward to watching that as well, Coach. Best of luck Saturday and appreciate you joining me.
Thanks, Matt.
This has been the Davidson Wildcats Coaches Corner presented by Atrium Health. Kickoff on Saturday at San Diego is set for 3 o'clock. Join us for pregame coverage on the Davidson Wildcat Radio Network beginning at 2:30.